go to sleep, you know I gotta keep my eyes open. But I've been smoking, that's the reason why my eyes closed. I'm from a city where the sleepers never make it. Risk your life and they gon' take it. Have you stuck up in that time zone? Like I can't help but always think about that time gone. Too many people I done lost, I'm trying to find home. I'm from a city where the sleepers never make it. Risk your life and they gon' take it. Have you stuck up in that time zone? Can't go to sleep, you know I gotta keep my eyes open. But I've been smoking, that's the reason why my eyes closed. I'm from a city where them niggas leave you wide open. So if you move around, you know to keep that nine close. Too many times I seen them change, thought I would die for them. The loyalty that had me walking with a blindfold. Can't let these people be the reason I don't make it. Give them time and they gon' waste it. Don't appreciate that time bone.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome everybody to the Lace Up Podcast, where we lace up or lay down, real gangster recovery, and we got one for you today. I'm gonna let my co-host here introduce him.
What's up, guys? Devin Donovan. We got a special guest, Damien.
What's
the
up,
Omen.
brother?
Let's go.
Yo, I was happy to come in to Quincy today. I didn't check in with Jamie Fitz.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if he's gonna be upset, but
Yeah, Jamie's a shot caller.
Jamie's
but it's all right. Shout out to Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie's the best.
So what's good, guys? It's a hot one out there today.
It is hot out there.
So we made this happen, and I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, we're excited we're excited to have you, and we you know, I can't forget to tell you, you know, that we truly appreciate the support. You know, sometimes we get lost in conversation and whatnot, chopping it up. And but yeah, we truly appreciate the support. You know, it keeps us going, brother. It really
my pleasure. It really is my pleasure. I'll support anybody that's elevating in life, and you guys are doing your thing. Obviously, the sobriety thing helps. I want to support anybody that's in recovery, and it's my pleasure.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Rock and Recovery and a shout out to our sponsor, 0% Clothing. All proceeds go towards the people struggling with addiction. So
shout out to Eddie McGrath.
Shout out to Eddie McGrath. You already know.
Eddie's the boss, baby.
Eddie was a gentleman. He sat down with me and a friend of mine, and true gentleman, businessman, and he's for the cause. So Eddie's a great guy in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Shout out to him.
Yep.
You want to be on Eddie's team, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's dive in, baby.
All right.
Where'd you grow up, Damien?
So I grew up in East Forest Park, Springfield, Mass. That's a neighborhood in Springfield. That's where I grew up.
Yeah, 413, right?
413.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yep.
And did you? What was it like? Did you come from like a chaotic household? What was your family like?
So man, you know, I'm not one of those guys that is gonna sit here and bullshit. You know what I mean? When I tell my story, it's real and true to how it really was growing up. For me,
you can't fuck that up.
Yeah. No, the thing is when you're in recovery, it's all about honesty, right? We're all living a different life today, but you know, we are molded and shaped by our past. And my past started, you know, in Springfield, East Forest Park, and no chaotic, man. I had 2 parents. They've been married for 40 years. Great upbringing. My, you know, I would say we were lower middle class. When I was born, I was born in the projects in Chicopee, and then we moved to Springfield when I was 1, East Forest Park, and my father was the breadwinner. He basically went to work while my mother took care of me and my brother and my sister. So, but no, I had a great upbringing. I'm blessed for the parents that I have. I fucked my own life up, you know?
Yeah, not enough people say that.
I fucked my own life up. A lot of things happened to help me get there along the way, but I fucked my own life up. Obviously, there was stuff that went on in my house, but I'd rather not talk about it. It's like the past, and like I'm not one of those people that point fingers for stuff that went on in my household and play the blame game, right? I feel like collectively, you know, I did stuff, my parents did stuff, collectively my life ended up the way that it did. You know?
I'm glad you touched on it. It was very confusing to me when I first came around. You know, sobriety was one thing, and I rode that way for a while until you know, I ran out of I couldn't sustain that anymore, and then I had to learn about recovery, right? And the whole resentment thing, and they asked me, you know, I remember sitting down with a counselor or someone trying to help me, and when they first asked me that question, you know, what do you resent? I told them like a tough guy.
Everything.
I'm not mad at anyone. I'm mad at myself. That couldn't have been further from the truth, right? Mm-hmm. But I couldn't even. That was I would have passed a lie detector telling you that. Yeah. And I used to get confused, and it would screw me up where I'd hear something happening, someone stealing someone's innocence, let's say as a kid, and things where it's like, you know, you gotta let go of that, and it's like, and saying like, what was your part in it, and it would fuck me up, right? Where it was like, no, sober, not sober, like there's certain things like that I know for a fact. I may question a lot of my own stuff, but I know that this is not right. And it was just the wording, and it was the way I was receiving it, where it was like, what was your part? Well, my part was this. What happened, right? Certain things that happened that may have been like, that may have affected me, were another person's actions, and based on that, I had to let it go of myself, because holding on to that, they were winning, or I was, you know, I wasn't, it was my obligation to say, bro, I didn't, you know, that's,
right.
It's not, I'm not holding that. It's not my burden to carry, you know what I'm saying?
It's not your poison to drink.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
if that, you know, I know that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah,
you know?
100%, yeah.
Of course. And what, how old were you, let's say, when you got into, you know, when the streets or the drugs started getting appealing, or
Good
you
question.
met certain people?
Good question. So, at 13 years old, you know, I had a tight knit circle back in the day, in East Forest Park. We had a tight knit circle. You know, we boxed outside in the streets. We played stickball. We played wiffle ball. We played tackle football. You know, we were brothers, right, in the neighborhood. And growing up, I wasn't really a big kid. I was always looking to fit in, and I feel like I had to put on a mask, right? And I had to mask who I really was, because I was uncomfortable in my own skin. Yeah. So at 13 years old, I tried dip first. Yeah. Actually, like dip. And I remember I got a little buzz, and I was like, all right, well, I don't really like this, but everybody seems to be, you know, taking to me a little bit more. And then the drinking came and stuff like that. So I would say like 13 is when I started, you know, making a turn. But really when I moved, because I moved from Springfield to New York at age 13. When I moved to New York, that's when the complete transition started of me going towards an illegal life, a criminal life, you know, just liking to be the villain. I think there was a couple things that happened in my life that molded me into that person, right? I was never really that person, but I was starting to be forged as that person because of things that happened. One of them being my friend who passed away in New York at 16 years old. He had committed suicide, and I took it really bad. And that's when I really started gravitating towards the street. So if that answers your question, I would say like 13 is when I started drinking and drugging, and 16 is when I started gravitating towards the streets.
It was kind of like one of those things where it's like these people you know, are gonna accept me and approve me, and
100%.
like you said, mold me to
100%.
who they want
It
me
was
to
like,
be.
you know, they call it where I was living at the time in New York. It was like you had the kids that were a little bit younger than my crew. Then you had my crew, and then you had the older kids. And it was like beatings were passed down from street generation to generation. Like, you know, you're always looking to be the biggest, baddest guy on the block, and that was the way that it was. Like, we stood on the corner, drank alcohol, smoked blunt after blunt, listened to Wu-Tang Clan, slap boxed, and just, you know, looked for drama. Like, that's what we lived for. We lived for the chaos, you know, throwing bottles at cars. You know, if kids came from out of town, we would smash them, and if we went to their town, they would try to smash us. That's just the way that it was back then. And, you know, obviously the crimes, it's a progression. It's like the disease of alcoholism, right? The street life is the same. The progression of the street life continues to keep progressing, and the older you get, the more dangerous you get. And
the one thing I want to touch on that is, you know, you got me thinking. So you moved to New York, right? And now you grew up in the John Gotti era, right? When organized crime, which to me I say like functioning alcoholic is like, to me, like the oxymoron of like organized crime is, it's just, there was never anything organized about it. But with that being said, there was in a sense where like it was never gonna, it was gonna run out, especially when drugs came in. Drugs ruin everything. Drugs ruin everything. That's why the old school guys didn't want drugs, right?
Oh,
there was
sloppy,
a reason for it, right?
And shit,
and then greed came in, and then the Hollywood, the fascination, the glorification. So now your kid's in the corner, and all this stuff. Why wouldn't you want to be this guy, right? Right?
Well, the money, the girls, the
Why
cars.
wouldn't you want to be?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you,
Yeah,
right? As
yeah.
a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And you're on the corner, and you're in New York, the Big Apple, right? All the surrounding areas, and like, as far as I'm concerned, like, you're like at the center of the universe, right? So now you're a kid, and you have all these feelings, all these hormones and stuff, and now you start looking at yourself in the third person where you're living like a movie, but it's not. It's real life.
So it's so funny. Me and my friends used to congregate at this candy store, and that was like kind of like our meeting spot. And we'd stand there like 20, 30 strong, right? We'd always be there. I'll never forget it. It's so funny because like years later, I became friends with him. But John Gotti Jr. used to pull up to this candy store, and everybody, we were 16, 15, 16-year-old kids. We'd be like, holy shit, you know who that is? That's John Gotti. And at the time, he was the boss of the Gambino family. His father was already away. And he used to come up to us kids, and he'd buy all the kids standing on the corner, candy and stuff like that. And years later, obviously, a friend of mine was in prison with him, so we ended up getting connected, and we became friends. And I actually acted in one of his projects in Miami, Florida. I was an actor. I played Teddy Deegan, actually, and Witsec Mafia. So, but yeah, man, it's funny how life comes full circle. As a kid, I looked up to that, and then I actually became friends with him. But yeah, man, I mean, the streets is a crazy life, man, because it's an evil, treacherous life.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're around high level criminals, right? Guys that are really making a lot of money, and there's a lot of money involved in the streets. It becomes a very dangerous game, right? Especially the drug game. You guys talked about drugs. Know a lot about that. I'm not proud of it. I sold a lot of drugs. I did a lot of bad things, and I'm not going to glorify the streets. I think we can all pretty much say the same thing about the streets. It's a dead end. You know what I mean? And
game over, baby.
Game over.
Well, that's the beauty of it too, and not to like put this person out there, but that's why coming on our podcast, right? Like we want people to feel comfortable, right, and be able to talk about certain things. And I know in the past, for me and Joe, we've gone on certain interviews or certain shows where it's like, I don't feel like I'm talking to somebody that could necessarily relate to me. So it was a little more difficult.
Yeah, you get it where you fit in,
Yeah.
100%.
And yeah, it's always attractive at first, right? It's attractive, and then you find out later on it's a fucking dead end.
Yeah, and I got so many stories. I mean, growing up in Springfield, and then making my way back to Springfield. Growing up in Springfield, it's just like a completely different world than the Boston area. Yeah. Like, it really just is. I mean, I feel like Boston people don't really know much about Springfield.
They don't.
In a way, they kind of like, the senses that I've got from people is like, oh, it's the woods, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's nothing like that. Like, yeah, it's surrounded by woods, but like, it's the trenches. Like, shout out to Millie's. Shout out to Millie's, because he said it in an interview. He said Springfield is the trenches, and he's right. He's 100% right.
Blanco.
Shout out to him. But like, Springfield is just a wild place. You got to remember, it's a city that's filled with poverty. Like, there's a lot of poverty there. It hasn't been gentrified. It's not like a nice place to live, right?
Yeah.
So with poverty, you have a lot of people that are products of their environment. They just grew up different, man. And growing up in Springfield was tough, man. You had to be careful. You know what I mean? You had to be real careful. Anytime I was ever living in Springfield, I was always carrying a gun with me, and I can't have a license to carry, as I'm a felon, excuse me, but I always carried a gun, because I never wanted to be caught lacking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, over there, like, if you get into an argument with the wrong person, they're not gonna, we ain't fighting. They're not rolling around on the ground. You know what I mean? They're gonna stab you, or they're gonna shoot you, and they're gonna call it a day.
We're not squaring off.
And they're not gonna care, because over there, it's like a sport.
Yeah.
These kids today, they think it's
they
like a
got
sport.
nothing to
How many
lose.
bodies they have,
Yeah.
And to me, I'm not trying to be a victim of nobody's game. You know what I mean? So, that's how it was growing up there, and I'm grateful that I'm living where I'm living today, and my life is in the direction that it is now because I made it out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Not
That
a lot of
says
people
everything
can say
to me
that.
about someone's character and what I believe things. I'm sure you've thought about it like this before. I believe that things are in people. I think good, bad, and indifferent. But like for what it's worth, I said earlier, like we're survivors. We've proven that, right? But then what,
100%.
right? Because you can survive and still be broken and still like not you can exist, right?
Be
and
stuck.
not live.
Stuck.
But I thought about what you were saying about like the poverty's poverty and like for you to make it out of there, like bricks, the projects are bricks. If poverty's poverty, bricks are bricks. Chickapee or fucking.
It don't matter where you're from.
You know what I'm saying?
Mobb Deep said it ain't where you from, it's where you're at.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? At the
absolutely.
end of the day,
Love
at the end of the
That's
day,
the
there's
truth,
fucking
bro.
tough gangster motherfuckers everywhere
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
You know, and I think especially in areas where there's a lot of poverty, right? Because these motherfuckers are trying to survive.
Yeah.
Like it's survival, right?
Yeah.
So it's different. And Boston, there is a lot of money out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Boston has a lot of money, but there's a lot of poverty too. But yeah, man, a ghetto's a ghetto, hood to hood.
And what you said about the one thing I will say, right? And I said, if we can, I feel like I earn the right to speak about. I can speak about Boston. I speak on certain things. I try not to speak on things that I'm not eligible to. But as far as that goes, right? The one thing with me is like, not everyone is eligible. Not everyone has earned that right. As far as like, if for what it's worth, that like, earn your stripes, or like, if you've been through something, you can speak on it, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say, like, is that there's nothing worse than like leg hangers and like people that like use that as like, because that shit to me,
Yeah.
I mean, even in a funny sense, we went to the street hockey tournament, the roller hockey tournament, and a couple days ago, I had asked someone. First, they had it in Charleston, then in Southie, and it's a big turnout. And as you know, hockey's big around here, and and the kids they show up every year for it, and it's like a big event. And I heard that. I said, "Oh, any problems, whatever?" And they said, "Yeah, the first game there's a team that from Quincy or whatever that acts up. They fight everywhere they go." And my reaction was like, "I fucking love that." You know why I love that? Because it's usually Charleston or Southie, and a lot of people would be like, "Oh, think that's cool." But now you got a team from Quincy, right? And it's like, I gotta go see these kids, right? Like now I'm intrigued. I'm like, I kind of love that, right? As long, you know what I mean? As long as they're not scumbags, you know what I mean? And they're just going and playing and fucking sticking up for themselves.
Yeah,
It's
of
like,
course.
I love that
So
shit.
speaking of hockey, I gotta give a shout out to somebody. So I don't know if you guys seen the or heard about the Danbury Trashers.
Of course, buddy.
Okay, so
AJ Galante.
my friend AJ Galante
We gotta get
just
him on.
bought. Listen, I'll get him on for you.
Yes.
Just bought the Danbury hat tricks. So, we have a lot of mutual friends, whatever the case may be. He reached out to me. I reached out to him, and he's like, "Yo, whenever you want to come to a game, sit in the owner's suites with
That's what we
me."
gotta do.
So we gotta go to a game. So show some love to AJ Galante. So shout
Absolutely, buddy,
out
yes.
to
Big
Jimmy
fan.
Galante and
Yeah.
AJ Galante. They just purchased the Danbury hat trick. So much love to them.
Yeah.
I want to give them my love and support.
Absolutely.
And that's the beautiful thing about all of this, right? Is like, just to give Joe a quick backstory. I met Damien, a couple of years back, dude, and like, it was very quick and short, and like, but even then, dude, you had something about you that was attractive from a recovery perspective. You know what I'm saying? And then you reconnect later on, come to find out he knows this person, he's done that, he's did this, and doing big things, all positive shit now, man. It's
Trying, man. It's a grind. And like when we were talking in the kitchen just now, it's like, I'm the one, a lot of times we ask people that are in recovery, if you could write a letter to your younger self, what would that letter say, right?
Shut the fuck up.
and the one thing that comes to my mind is, well, there's two actually, but it goes parallel, and you'll see what I'm about to say. But it is the anger and the mindset. Let go of the anger
Kryptonite.
and change your mindset, right? And if I got one message to anybody out there that is struggling with addiction, that is, down in that hole, right, is to crawl, scratch, and climb your way the fuck out of that hole. Stop making excuses. Stop pointing fingers at everybody else. saddle the fuck up, man the fuck
Lace
up.
the fuck up, baby.
Lace the fuck up. Lace the
up.
fuck up. And get up and get after it. And like hard work, pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you guys want something, whatever that is, chase it and don't ever give up. You know what I mean? And that's been my mindset as far as like in recovery and as far as like in my life day to day. And I take that with me every day and I put one foot in front of the other and my life slowly starts to come full circle. And it's amazing. It's a blessing. And I'm blessed to be here with you guys because this is an opportunity. And this is an opportunity for all of us to put the message out there.
100%.
Well, you said something before I lose my train of thought. I used to write when I was away. That was my outlet, and I used to write like poems, poetry, and stuff like that, and you know, hopefully turn them into lyrics and music at some point. You know, it's like a passion of mine. But one of the lyrics and lines that I had, it said when I heard this saying, because I heard some of the best, right? Like, you go to prison, right, if you want to fucking hear some, like, real deep shit, right?
Yeah.
Not just cliche
Motherfuckers
shit, but,
get
like,
real creative.
not just shit happens, or, like, right?
Motherfuckers get real creative.
And I remember it said, pressure breaks pipes, but it also makes diamonds. No doubt it will shine as soon as its time ends. And, like, my outlet was to, like, I was always, when I read it, it was always, like, I needed to fucking hear it. I needed to see it on paper or something, right? But I remember that saying, pressure, you know, it makes diamonds. It breaks pipes, but it makes diamonds, you know. So,
of course.
Dude, listen, fucking, I'm telling you, mindset, man. Mindset is everything. And shout out to Frank Parisi, too.
Shout out to Frankie.
Frank has an incredible story. He's going to be coming on your guys' podcast at some
coming
point.
on.
He's my mentor. He's a fucking amazing human being. And these are the type of people I surround myself with today. And you know, all the gangster bullshit, you know,
of
I get it. I'm not trying to pull out my thing and see who's got the bigger one. You know what I mean?
What was appealing to me was seeing guys that came out of that. And like, I say all the time, I was an addict, bro, that did county time. Like, I never fucking, you know what I mean? I wasn't mobbed up, ganged up, in prison, whatever. But like, seeing guys that went through that, now to be in recovery, that made it attractive to me. It's like, these guys are these are real deal fucking tough guys. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
that changed their life.
well, that's what you say. Like, that's words can be very powerful. And like how people run with them and use them for good and bad, right? And like, you know, the word gangster. It's like, hey, you want to, you know, we know that language, right? To me, like, all right, so I can challenge myself and speak to myself that way sometimes. Like, how gangster are you, kid? Right? When I'm feeling off, and it's like, and I say, like, we're so gangster, we'll sit here and tell the fucking truth, right? We'll sit here and say, like, okay,
how it is,
I was that guy, but like, and I still, right? That's I could be that guy, but fucking, I know that never served anything.
Oh, that guy's still deep. He's still there. That guy never goes away.
No.
You know, I got to keep that guy in the basement, bro. I got to keep him sleeping. You know what I mean? Because I get nervous, man. You know, when that guy comes around, I get nervous. I'm like, oh, here comes that cocaine gun-toting cowboy, and I'm like, gotta pump the brakes a little bit. Gotta remember where I came from. Gotta continue to live in gratitude. Gotta continue to live in the way God wants me to live. You know,
as opposed to the anger, the fear, the ego, the self, all that.
So before we get like into the recovery, was there like what was like the moment? Because I'm sure I wanted to ask you too. Like, were you? I'm sure you were you were functioning for a while under the influence of drugs.
So listen, I'm gonna tell you how I was in the street. So when I was in the street, I made a lot of money. So it made a lot of money. I was a like I said, a cocaine fueled gun toting cowboy. It would be nothing for me to pull out a gun in the middle of a restaurant, start waving it around. My friend would come over to me at the restaurant and be like, dude, what the fuck you doing? I'd go outside, start busting shots and leave the restaurant. Blackout drunk.
Everybody be cool, this
right, wake up the next day and motherfuckers are calling my phone. Bro, do you know what you did, bro? What do you do? Like, you can't do that. You're gonna go to jail. But like, I made a lot of money. I was a wild kid. I had reach. You know, I had reach in the 5 families. Like, you know, with the 5 families, I had a long reach. You know, all the way out from Staten Island, New Jersey. Like, my reach was long. My reach was long. and I had connections with like MC, like 1%ers, like motorcycle gang, people, like, I'm not gonna mention clubs, doesn't matter.
Of course.
Latin Kings, Bloods,
Money
Crips.
talks, bro. Yeah.
You know, I had a lot. I knew a lot of people, right? I knew a lot of people. But my rock bottom was when I had everything. When I had everything, actually, I had everything. I had a Mercedes. I had fucking, almost $250,000 in a safe. I had everything, but I had no soul.
It still wasn't enough.
The devil had took my soul, right? And I had completely forgot who I was as a person and who my parents raised. And I'm getting the chills even talking about it because it's true. Mm-hmm. I had looked in the mirror one day and I got emotional. I got sad. I got sad, and I was like, I'm disgracing my family. Like, what am I doing? I'm fucking selling drugs. I'm hurting people. I'm living this fast-paced life. I got murder beef in the street where it's like, if I see you or you see me, like, it's like that. You know what I mean? And it's like a scary existence, right? And I said, I can't live like this anymore. I had a pile of cocaine on the table. I had a gun on the table, and I was really gonna end my life. I didn't want to live anymore, because I was empty inside, and I just said, I'm getting sober. I'm done. I'm done doing this, and I made a conscious decision. The one thing about me is I'm very disciplined. Yep. The MMA stuff, obviously, me being a fighter. I'm very disciplined. When I put my mind to something, I'm a nut. I won't stop until I do it. Yeah. That's why I was dangerous in the street too, because if you fuck with me, it's never gonna stop. It's just gonna keep going until I handle my business. It's a gift and a curse, right? But now what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to take that crazy mindset that I have and do positive things with it.
Absolutely.
And I feel like addicts, we all have that, right? We're all a little bit fucking nutty.
I agree.
And taking that little bit of crazy that we have and putting it towards good instead of bad, and the world is our oyster. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at now. With the recovery stuff. Obviously, I was a fighter for a long time.
Did the fighting obviously started younger?
Oh yeah, growing up in the neighborhood, like I said, dude, I took so many losses as a kid. I was a small kid. I could get my ass fucking whooped my whole life until I got to be about 16, and then I fought in the Golden Gloves, started boxing, won the Golden Gloves in '96, went to jail for a while, got out of jail, started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and just had my first MMA fight in 2005, and I won. Obviously, I got addicted to that whole thing because I'm an addict. I got addicted to the rush of the crowd, walking, and the hand getting raised, and the money, the women, and it all just went hand in hand. The addiction with the fighting, and it just all went hand in hand. And I was the man for a while in Springfield. Like, I was like, I don't want to. It's the truth. I was sort of like a local celebrity. Like, I was the guy that everybody knew. I was the name everybody was dropping. Damien Trites. There were two guys in my city that was very dangerous. Myself and this dude named Justin Torrey. Shout out to Justin Torrey. Very dangerous individual. But in the city of Springfield, we were known for making shit happen. You know what I mean? And
that goes to the you mentioned the kid and you said the word dangerous, and to me that's you speak my language in Bronx still, where you'd rather be feared or loved, and I would have told you as a kid, like, fear, right? No, honestly, right? Like there's nothing you could that today. I thought about that recently, and I'm like, there's nothing better than being loved, right? And like, because I know guys like dangerous and shit like that, and like feared. There's no relationships being built, right? You're not attracting anything positive, right? And I can't survive on my own, nor do I want to, right? Like, I came, I want all of us to eat, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to fucking sit there, you know? Because I saw, and when you get there, it's like, there's a lot of jealousy, a lot of envy and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, like,
that's that life.
All right, we're all, like, this.
That's the treachery.
That's crazy, right? I came from where you came from. I chose to, I made some moves or whatever. I stepped out or whatever. And now it's like, and all of a sudden, like, fucking, like, the feelings change or the attitudes change or, like, the way you perceive, like, it's like, bro, you you can do what you gotta do too. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, so all of that stuff and having to process it and you know all the stuff that comes with it, it's just negativity.
100%. And you know what's funny when you mentioned Bronx Tale, I would have thought the same way when I was living that life. It's better to be feared. But now that I look back at it, the way I would answer that question today is it's better to be loved. 100%. You know why? Because when you're dead and gone, the love lasts forever. Yeah. You know, and the fear doesn't. Once you're dead and gone, okay, you're gone. And guess what? Guess who's going to be at your funeral? Not many people.
And it's that's what I was thinking when I said
it's a mic drop right there.
I had told Devin before. I spoke about a kid I grew up with, and it's he had the last name or whatever. Born into that last name, and then he had to live up to that reputation. It was almost like, damn, no one has to be born into certain things, especially like their namesake, Yeah. And this kid fucking he carried that tradition, and what it looked like. I remember running into his brother. I worked with his brother for a little while, and same thing, like like a junior or whatever. And he said, Joe, and I love the kid. He goes, he'd do anything for you. You'd want him on your side in the beef. Yeah. But he said, what's going to happen to my brother? He said, he's dangerous and people fear him, right? He's going to get killed.
100%.
Right? And not necessarily by the fucking crazier, tougher fucking guy. No, by he's going to scare someone. He's going to scare someone because, he could fight, but like chances are he's going to fucking carve you up. So now someone's going to be like, fuck that, dude.
And that's right? A lot of the reason why I walked away, because I looked at it like, look, I'm an MMA fighter, right? I'm dangerous with my hands, right? And I'm always carrying a pistol and live by the gun. Live by the gun, die by the gun, right? And it's like, I'm just grateful, man. I'm really, really grateful.
Of course. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, let me ask you this, was it hard to walk away?
Yeah, I mean, look, man. I mean, yes and no, right? Yeah. It's a complicated question. I would say yes. It was hard to walk away because I was addicted to the lifestyle. Yeah. Like, look, I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. Cocaine was primarily my drug of choice with alcohol, right? Yep. But I got addicted to the criminality, the committing the crimes, getting involved in scores, big scores, robbing people.
That's the high end.
That type of stuff. But I would say I miss some of my friends that are still involved in that life, but I realize that I have to keep an arm's distance.
Yeah, of course.
And I have to put myself and my sobriety before anything, and God. Before anything, and I think that when you start to break free from an evil life like that, if you don't put God first, you will end up back in that life, 100%. And you'll end up even worse, because it's just like anything else. The progression of the disease with AA and Alcoholics Anonymous, right? The street life is no different.
Yeah.
If you go back into the streets after you've been away for a while, the expectations are going to be even higher from people that are around. The pressure's
going to be even more.
The pressure's going to be even more. You're going to have to even prove yourself even more and more and more. Because motherfuckers are going to be like, well, you've been away for a while. Where the fuck you, and they're going to be, and then you're going to start drinking and using drugs. Yeah, exactly.
That's what they say about guys doing a light bit of something that was like, the guy or whatever, and it was like no one would ever whisper fucking it, and it's like all of a sudden like, oh yeah, I heard he's is a born again Christian, so it's like, I don't know, he's doing life in prison, bro, right? Like fucking, like it's almost like someone's dead, like shitting on anything. It's like he's holding a life bid, right? Yeah. Like whatever helps him sleep at night. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want? I'm like, he's a human being. He's not a story for you to fucking tell.
I think people mistake people's weakness for kindness when it comes to that type of stuff too. Like they think that because I'm so nice now and I'm such a humble guy and I try to be like godly, right? Yeah. That I still don't have that guy inside of me.
Sometimes you gotta pull it out of the holster.
Yeah. Like every now and then you gotta check people.
I say to Joe all the time, listen, man, I don't want to hurt people. I want to be honest. I want to be positive and have good. But especially with this shit that we're doing, random people come out of the woodwork, man. Like, just because I'm fucking sober doesn't mean I'm just gonna rub everything on my fucking chest.
100%. And dude, and don't press me and push me and don't force the issue. Don't disrespect me. Don't think that I'm soft by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just living a different life today. But I mean, I can always take it there if you want to go there. I don't want to go there, but at the end of the day, don't fuck with me. You know what I mean? I'm staying in my lane, you stay in your lane, and let's just,
And that's the attractive part about this that I feel like is real. What separates the real from the fake and the strong from the weak, where it's like you talked about, you still have friends that are in that lifestyle, right? Well, you know as well as I do, right, that you want to, first of all, you want to, if you're questioning, that's more kid shit or whatever, but like wondering who's who and what's what, right? Because circles are tight or whatever. And then, but as a kid, you like spread yourself so much, and you think everyone's your fucking friend, and that's not the case.
Nope.
You know, but you see who will ride with you and who won't. But like, you know, at the same time, you know, your expectations too, where it's like, hey, if I'm catching a bid, you know what I mean? Hey, maybe write me a letter once in a while. If you don't, you don't. I'm not. It is what it is, right? I'll see you when I see you, and we'll pick up where we left off. But the real friends would be happy for you. They wouldn't judge you based on anything. They wouldn't make you feel any type of way, and they wouldn't, right? If anything, they would be like, damn, what's different with Damien, right?
Yo,
like,
and that's why that's why we do this, right?
Yeah.
We do this to hopefully shed light to the people that are in the fucking darkness, right? Yeah. The people that are in that fucking hole. Yeah. To help them crawl out of that hole. And you know, you just said something about, you know, people being happy for me, and I have to say, I lost a good friend of mine, Rob Falzo, like 3 days ago. He lost his fight with addiction. You know, and we had a conversation, like roughly like 2 weeks ago. We were supposed to meet up the day that he had ended up, you know, not making it or whatever. But yo, when I called him and like he was still kind of wrapped up in like some of the nonsense. Yeah. He said to me, yo, D, man, I don't want to live like this no more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to get sober, and I want you to know that I love you, man. Like, dude, I'm really genuinely fucking happy for you. And like, I could hear it in his voice, and I was like, yo, this is my guy. Like, that's my guy. And those are the people that I wanna help, and I wanna be around. The people that genuinely want you to win. Of course. Right? No ulterior motives, no angles, because that's the street. We know that. Yeah. The angles, the ulterior motives, right? That's not how I'm living today.
Well, you're big on we were talking earlier. You're big on discipline and mindset and who you surround yourself with, right? And leveling up.
Yeah.
There's an argument to be had is those same people that say you can't do this or can't do that. It's like, what do you not want me to win, dude? Because it's like, you got sometimes of course there's fear, of course there's uncomfortability, but just fucking 10-9, he's like, nobody let me in, dude. I kicked the fucking door down.
Yeah, you know, dude, and the reality of it is why, if people are doing good with their lives and they're doing good things, right? Why would you want to see somebody like you? Gotta. I think a lot of it's projection.
A lot of it's projection.
You're gonna be real sick.
You know,
real sick.
100%. We say it all the time. I'm like, bro, if you're thinking of me and fucking and there's something I have that you want, or you feel like fucking I didn't, whatever the case, right, and it makes you upset, you're a sick fuck, dude, right? Because you wouldn't want to be in this.
Or maybe you think I'm handsome. I don't fucking
right.
Maybe you got a little sugar in the
Damien,
tank, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. Yes. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with it. You know, today we got to be careful what we say.
Yeah, but harness that shit. You know what I'm saying? And you know what though, you're right. I feel like it's you got to carve out your own niche. You gotta. I'm big on identity. I always say. It wasn't until maybe, you know, I'm sure my parents, they try to like upbringing and stuff. Once I went down that corner, dude, I was stunted from forming any type of fucking identity until fucking 25, 30 years later, basically. You know what I mean? 25 years later.
Because we wear the masks, bro. We wear masks. Right? Yeah. We wear masks. Yeah. And you know what's so freeing about addiction is that you have the opportunity to take the mask off and be who you really are. You know what I mean? Who you really are. And who I really am is a fucking good person that wants to see people fucking win, dude. That's a God-fearing man. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
all that other bullshit was the addiction, was the fucking alcoholism, was the drugs, bro. It's not who I am today. You know what I mean? Like, I'm rooting for the Johnny Barts. I'm rooting for the guys that came from the bottom, and now they're on their way up, and they're successful, and they're trying to, they're preaching, they're preaching a good message, whatever that message is. They're living their best lives. They're being the best versions of themselves, and I believe that through personal development, like Frank Parisi always says, personal development, and just having a positive mindset, that you can achieve whatever, and you had spoke about your son and how he's angry, how he's an angry young man, and this is me speak. What is his name? Noah. So if I could say one thing to you, Noah, I was a very angry young man, a very angry young man, and if I can give you one piece of advice, Noah, and this is from my heart, you know what I mean, because I have a new friend here who loves you dearly, it's anger is going to get you nowhere. It's going to get you locked up. It's going to get you, you're only going to attract more anger into your life, more negativity. Learn how to heal and grow and become positive, and you will win in life. But if you continue down this negativity road, you will end up down a path that we all ended up, in the depths of hell. And I don't want that for you, Noah. So I'm praying for you, brother, and rooting for you.
Wow.
So
I just got goosebumps, man. That was awesome. That was awesome.
So, I mean that, and I hope.
You talk about.
There
was no one on the street corner right now, and not with malicious intent or anything or spiteful. They may have had very good intent, but like they weren't able to, like, number one, have those thoughts, have those feelings, right? Because we numb them all the time, or distract from them, and then be able to like give that message. It'd be more like, hey, like, fucking get out of here before I tell you, right? So now you got someone there, like that to me says like look at the difference there, right? Yeah. There was no one on the corner. Even my true friends, right? They would try to more control, like, do as I say, not as I do, kid. That's not the way it works, right? Yeah. And we see how that plays out, as opposed to like the sincerity, and it's that right there says everything,
Yeah, of course. Learn from my experience.
Life experience, yo. And Noah, another thing is like, yo, I'm not telling you because I haven't been through it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you because my father told me all the same things that your father is trying to tell you right now.
Yeah.
It's like, if you can get it now, you can save yourself all that heartache that we fucking went through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're OGs for a reason, because we've been through the shit. We've been at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, it don't matter what street corner you come from. The street corner's the street corners. The gutter's the gutter. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's like I'm all about elevating today. You know what I mean? Elevating and getting to the next level. And that's it. That's what I'm about today. I'm about making moves, power moves.
Yeah, right.
Bringing my team with me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about. So my son's mother passed away. God rest her soul. She died of a fentanyl overdose in October of 2024. She died on my son's 21st birthday. So on my son's 21st birthday, I had to drive to UMass Lowell and tell my son that his mother passed away and that she lost her fight with addiction. So when we got to the school, he thought we were there to celebrate his birthday. So he had a huge smile on his face, and I had to take that walk and meet him halfway and let him know. And it was fucking the hardest moment of my life, but I do believe in God. I'm a God-fearing man, and I believe that everything comes full circle. Everything happens for a reason. So with that, I took the strength and the motivation to stand up and be the man that I am today. Be sober, stand on business, lace the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
And say I need to be a father to my son, because he needs me. At a time like this, he needs me. So I have a friend of mine who does well in business, who said, he's heard my story, he knows everything about me. He said, look, let's do something. I said, well, what do you want to do? He's like, let's open up some sort of recovery program in honor of your son's mother. So shout out to Luke Howarth. Luke Howarth has became a really close friend of mine through physical fitness and sobriety. He's in sobriety. He went through Charles River, and we connected. He trains with me at the gym. Hell of a guy, great father. I couldn't ask for a better business partner, but not only a business partner, a friend. Because what is he doing? he's lifting me up in the darkest times,
He's
right? Lifting me up.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm gonna spearhead all the financials. I'm just gonna have to. You're gonna have to run the program for me, and we're gonna honor my son's mother with opening my first IOP PHP. It's gonna be called Adrian's House of Hope. So we're looking for a location. We're excited for this journey. I had a meeting with Eddie McGrath.
Yep.
We spoke. He kind of helped me. He's trying to help me navigate it a little bit, and I'm trying to do it in an area where everybody can eat, because that's what I'm about, right? I'm about all of us living and making money, and so I'm excited. It's exciting, you know. And I turned something negative, a situation from negative to where I could have let it spiral, right? My life could have came crashing down on top of me. The fuck it mindset, right? Went and got high and fucking did a bunch of shit. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna turn my life over to God. I'm gonna pray. And look what happened.
That's the most valuable lesson you could have taught your son by honoring her like that.
It's powerful, man. Like, it's powerful. You come here, right? And you talk very much about God and spirituality, and that's everything,
bro.
Right?
It's fucking dude. I'm telling you, I'm
always missing that,
bro. I was asleep, bro. I was asleep, yo. I was a fucking sleep. Not only was I asleep, I was running with the motherfucking devil, yo. The devil was my boy, yo. I wanted to be sitting in hell having a fucking drink with that motherfucker. That like, and I was like, it was weird. It was almost like the eviler, the nastier I was, the more dangerous I became, but the more the devil was trying to take me and pull me.
You know why, too? I believe that because the devil, we were a threat to the devil. Because he knows that what we have inside, right?
Yeah.
He knows that we're a problem. He knows, all right,
But he loves that.
He's not just satisfied with us running with him, right?
No.
Because he knows that, like, listen, you want to, he knows he has to match wits or whatever, and he's like, listen, all right, you want to use me, right? Yeah. I'm going to use you too, subconsciously, right? We can do this. We can make money, all this shit, right? But in my heart, I still have honor, or at least I'm holding on to that, right? So I'm honor amongst thieves. I'm still trying to live a certain way, right? And you're trying to take that from me, so it's like I gotta get this. I gotta fucking really knock him down.
Yo, but when we have this murder beef in the street, and when we're selling drugs, and when we're doing this, the devil is like this, and he's smiling, he's happy because he's like, I got this motherfucker, right? But yo, I gotta tell one more story real quick.
Yeah, tell him.
And man, this is a fucking deep ass story. So, my sister. I love my sister to death. I would die for my sister. Any of my family members, that goes without saying. I'm a big brother, so you can obviously know I'm a crazy big brother. All her boyfriends and everything is like, oh, you got to meet my brother, and it's like when they meet me, they're like, oh, okay.
It's like that scene from Den of Thieves with 50 Cent.
So
you ruin everything, Damien.
So my sister is married to this. He's actually a great individual. His name's Gino Camerata, and my sister's a Camerata now. I'm very happy for that. So my sister was trying to get pregnant. She's married. She's always been a nanny, babysitter. She loves kids, right? She's just a nurturing woman, right? So about for 3 years she's been trying to have a baby. And the doctors were trying to figure out what's going on because she didn't think she could have a baby. And one day, my girlfriend, shout out to my girlfriend because she's been my rock. She's always been there for me, held me down in the darkest times and lifted me up like nobody else. You know, I'm grateful for that. She comes to me and she says, last night I had a dream about Adrian. And she looked beautiful. Like beautiful, right? And I was like, I got the hair standing up on me right now. She's probably in this room right now. But she comes to her in the middle of the night and she says, Adrian came to me and said, tell Damien I love him. I can't wait to meet the baby. I'm gonna meet him at the hospital. So we get to the hospital, right? And I go up to Adrian in the dream, and I give her a big hug. She looked beautiful, right? Apparently she looked, and they say when you're in heaven, you look the best version of yourself you ever look. You look incredible, right? She wakes up from the dream, right? So I'm like, what the fuck? The baby. I'm not thinking anything, right? So my mother calls me, and I said, weirdest thing, fucking Georgia had a fucking dream about Adrian. Something about a baby. My mom, heart drops. She starts crying over the phone. Your sister's pregnant.
Holy shit.
Yo, God is fucking real, dude. Yeah. I'm telling you, God is fucking
open your
real.
Fucking eyes.
Yeah.
God is fucking real, dude. And my sister didn't think she could have kids. That's fucking powerful, right? Wow. So I was like, holy shit. And just so many other things have been happening.
Yep.
And all the signs that you don't see when you're blinded by the devil, you start to see. The blessings start coming.
Yeah.
And Frank Parisi said one time on a podcast, when you're living with God and you're keeping your sword sharp, the blessings just come.
Yeah.
They just come. Just sit back.
Pray.
Pray. Do the work on yourself, and the blessings come.
Yeah.
People think that, you just pray and you fucking live like a scumbag. Your life's not going to change. That's not how it works. You got to do work on yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think in recovery and in life in general, people forget that you can't just not take a drink and expect changes. No,
of course.
You got to do work.
You
got to do the steps. You got to do all the hard work, all the shit. I'm on my 4th step. You know what I mean? I'm on my 4th step.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm doing it. You know what I mean? So I'm just grateful. I'm blessed. Really, like, my life is in a completely different direction today. Yeah. And, I'm looking in the rear view mirror and I'm fucking headed straight, bro. I'm just going.
I love your energy.
Going.
And it's, that's not a coincidence either, Like you just spoke of it right there. Your energy, it speaks for itself,
I appreciate it.
I'm the opposite of the kid on the corner that like was, the impression, I was impressionable in like the things that I thought, like, they were all shiny and pretty and stuff like that, but I was still a kid and I hadn't like, I had to suffer, but I hadn't lived enough. I hadn't experienced life enough to know any type of difference or in comparison or whatnot, and know like being able to show up or even just like you said, wake up, open your eyes, right? If you said also about your family, how you one day you felt a certain way and you felt like you were disgracing them, dishonoring them, right? And that hit home, right? Because like you needed to feel that, and like right there, like that right there, those things that hurt are necessary, right?
Yeah.
And I can't feel them if I'm living, if I'm just running, whether I'm fucking down and out or I'm making money and fucking and just justifying my fucking.
It didn't matter. It didn't fucking matter.
Just said
At the end, I had everything.
Yeah.
Bro, I had a fucking beautiful apartment. I had a fucking Mercedes that I paid for with cash. I had a fucking Honda Accord that I was financing. I had 2 cars. I had money in a safe, and I had no soul. What good was it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all you people out there that got all this money and you think your life is good and all this other bullshit, if you ain't got peace, you ain't got shit.
Yeah.
If you don't have peace,
and you know that.
And
we know that you know that.
100%. If you don't have balance, I tell people all the time, if you don't have balance and peace up here, you ain't got shit, yo.
Yeah, Devin's big on the balance. Yeah.
You ain't got shit, yo. And I tell people in recovery, it's like, yo, most of us are mentally ill.
Yeah.
We're fucked up in the head, dude. We got mental problems, dude.
Yeah.
Get your mental shit balanced. If you need to be on medication, that's okay. Be on medication.
Yeah.
Get yourself balanced, because when you get yourself balanced, mind, body, and spirit.
Yep.
Once you have that, it comes full circle, and you can fucking, you can live a great life.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing what can happen. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you, just for the people listening, right? What's so how long you been sober, and what's like your routine now on a day to day?
So man, I've been sober almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in August this month, August 20th.
Nice.
Couple weeks.
Yeah.
Be 4 years. My routine is I'm very routine orientated.
Yeah.
I believe that as an addict and an alcoholic, we have to have a routine. We have to have structure. I saw the whiteboard that you guys have downstairs. I have a whiteboard at my house. I highly recommend that, you write goals, small goals. You write gratitude list every day. I pray regularly. I meditate regularly. I eat a pretty good diet. I'm on my way back, trying to get myself into shape. I'm training in the gym again.
Nice.
I had surgery a little while ago, so I put on a little bit of weight. I'm trying to shed that. It'll come off quick. And then I serve.
Yeah.
Frank Parisi always talks about service work, right?
Yep.
Being of service to people, right? And I go to the detox Shout out to Jamie Fitz again,
Yep.
my boy. You know, we go over there and we serve people.
Yep.
You know, we spread the good word of sobriety, and I try to put the little bit of bug of God in the mix, because some people don't really like to talk about it early in recovery, which is okay. They'll get there when they're ready. But that's my routine, man. I just go to work, stack money, and just continue to chase dreams, spend time with my family, my son. You know, make sure that I'm on top of him, because he's going through a lot of shit. I got him in the gym. He's training. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to fight or anything like that, but which is fine. I want him to be who he is, right?
Yep.
And
But
that's it.
The discipline aspect.
Discipline. Just
is
discipline.
huge, dude.
Huge.
We're gonna see you in the octagon again soon.
No.
I'm
done.
He should go be in Corey's corner, bro.
Yeah.
We gotta link up.
Our buddy Corey. The episode.
Yo, I
actually about to
seen
come out.
him. He's a tall, lanky. He looks like a savage.
He is a savage.
So shout out to Corey.
Shout out to Corey.
He trains with a few former teammates of mine. You know, so I know the team he comes from. He comes from a team of savages.
Yep.
So looks like he's got a bright future ahead of him. I'm rooting for him. I'm praying for him.
Hell yeah.
Positive vibes, good vibes only.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Oh wait. We got to talk a little bit about Chicky real quick.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How did you meet Chicky?
So Chicky's a dear friend of mine. He was my partner in the street for a long time. Trying to get him, you know, on the straight and narrow. It's not like he's involved in anything really anymore.
Yeah.
He's retired from the life. You know, but he's a fucking wild man. He's a fucking wild man. He's a wild man. So we're gonna have to get Chicky
Absolutely.
on. You know, about 5 years ago, me and Chicky, we should be doing 25 fucking years. You know, like, you know what I mean? And it's like we had a crazy summer like 5 years ago before I got sober, and I'm just grateful I made it out of it. You know, and just we got to get Chicky on.
Yeah,
He would love to chop it up.
I
with
believe
you
you're
guys.
friends with my buddy Stevie Dunn.
Yo, Stevie Dunn and we're brothers, bro.
Yo,
brothers.
he talked about you guys.
Did he?
He told me. He said, "Listen, my guys are coming out from Springfield." He spoke of you and Chicky. And it just didn't materialize, but Stevie's going to be coming on.
I was going to say, I could get you Stevie.
He's the best.
Bro.
And he said, I'll have
Dude's
my
a
friends
nut.
with me.
You want to talk about a fucking nut? I seen him bite. Let me tell you about Stevie, right?
Hey,
So
the most humble, like, they say, the
Bro.
quiet ones, right? The
Scary
quiet ones,
dude,
bro.
If I'm telling you he's a scary dude, he's a scary fucker.
But the nicest guy, it's like, this dude is like, he walks like he don't give a fuck, right? But he's the nicest guy. There's no like bravado or like, you know, and you know, he just likes to dress nice. He's always matching and shit, you know what I mean? He has a little style, right? That's Stevie for you, right? And it's funny because like those are the most dangerous. Like, you know, and I love that for him because he's the most down to earth.
What was the story about
So just so you know, Steve Dunn and I, we've been friends for like 20 years. I cornered Steve in every professional MMA fight he had. I walked him out. He's my brother. Like, me and Steve are like if I get into a jam, like, he's one of the guys I could call at 3 a.m. and be like,
Solid.
in the town, whose car are we taking, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No
that's
question.
my guy, right? Like, he'll come and whatever, right? I don't live that life no more, so I don't need to call nobody. But at the end of the day, that's my guy,
Absolutely.
Steve. But I got a crazy story about Steve. So Steve, one time, he was with this chick, and we were out, and this dude fucking grabbed her ass, right? So Steve walked up to the dude and fucking bit a piece of his fucking cheek off and spit it on the fucking floor. Okay, that's Steve Dunn in a nutshell. Steve bites.
Yeah.
So I gotta tell you now. I gotta switch gears a little bit. I gotta tell you a funny story about Steve. So we're out. Yo, listen. So we're out, right? We're at a bar one night. This is before I got sober, and it's Thanksgiving Eve. Remember how Thanksgiving Eve was like a big thing? Everybody goes out, drinks, whatever, parties. So this motherfucker, we're drunk, right? And he fucking comes up to me, and the cocksucker bit my fucking shoulder. I go, you fucking cocksucker. It bit me hard, right?
Yeah.
I had the fucking mark and everything. I turned around and gave him a leg kick. Bang! He said, He said, "Fuck you, you fucking prick." He said, Christmas Eve, his legs still hurt. He said, "I'm never fucking biting you again. My leg hurt on Christmas Eve."
Yeah, he's
But
talking
Steve-
about one of the boys. Like
Steve is the best.
That's
He's
like,
the best.
dude, that's
He's the
like
best.
some great like teen, like being on the corner as a kid, and like I remember we used to come, like people come up and like it would be a thing, like it'd be fucking like like it'd be funny to come up and like take my fucking shoulder off, separate my shoulder. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
Oh, he's
like,
like
come
that.
up and be like,
He's
fight
like
yeah.
that, yeah.
It's like
I'll never forget it. One night we were at my friend's house, right? So we're fucking roughhousing. It's like 4 a.m. Steve's fighting with this kid that owns the house right now. We just used his house, we kind of abusing him and shit. We were nuts, you know. So this fucking dude and Steve start to get like a little serious while they're wrestling. Yeah. Next thing you know, Steve's on top of him, fucking pummeling him. Right? He's a bloody mess on the floor. I gotta separate him. He's like a fucking pit bull, right? The guy's bleeding everywhere. I'm fucking pulling him, right? So the next day, I fucking got Steve out of there. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I slept at the kid's couch. I fucking passed out on the couch. I woke up, there's blood everywhere. All of a sudden, it's 7 in the morning. 7 in the morning. Ding dong. Steve's at the door with a fucking bouquet of flowers and a card. A get well card. A get well card. He brings the fucking, he brings a card. He brings a card to the kid. He goes, "I'm sorry, bro." He's drunk. He beat the kid to a fucking oblivion. He brings him a card and fucking flowers.
Yeah.
Fucking
That's
nut.
Stevie
That kid's a
Dunn,
fucking nut.
I can't wait to get Stevie on.
Yeah, let's go.
So listen, man. Fucking, this has been great.
This has been a dope episode.
This has been great.
Dope, man.
I wanna say I really appreciate you guys for having me, man.
Can we have you sign the thing real quick?
Yeah, of
We're gonna have
course,
to
man.
sign the
Of
lace
course.
up.
Yeah, of course, my man.
Yeah,
Of course.
man. And this is just the beginning, brother.
Yeah,
This is
man.
just the beginning
Yo, like I
for
said,
all of us.
don't ever give up, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a powerful episode, man. Dev always,
Let's
Dev,
go. Our
Dev,
first
you've been
Springfield
on a heater, bro.
guy, man.
Word.
Yeah, I was real excited.
I'll get some people for you guys. You know what I mean? Yo, I appreciate
Absolutely.
Episode 30.
Appreciate you.
In the books, baby.
Episode 30 with D.
Let's go.
All right, guys, tune in. Lace up or lay down. Peace.
Peace.
Salute.